I want to talk about something that I don't often see get talked about, and this pertains to those that have a divine mission and a divine calling over their life, where they have spiritual gifts that they have to step into and they have to give unto the world, basically. But it's a divine mission where it helps the expansion of other beings, right? And so there are many things that goes behind the scenes for one that has that particular type of calling that I don't often see get talked about. And just the type of trials and tribulations that you have to endure in order to step in to your calling. Um, they can oftentimes be intense. They can be shattering. They can be traumatic. They can be very painful. And, you're forced to have a particular way about you to just keep going and keep expanding because it's all about the mission. So you have to have a certain level of discipline and diligence and devotion, right? And oftentimes you're still expected to show up in the physical world and do the things that other beings are doing that don't have that particular calling over their life. But then you are also going through various trials and spiritual warfare that is very different to a degree than the spiritual warfare that some other beings might be going through. For instance, is because it's because you stepping into your calling, and what your calling entails will eventually rattle the matrix 3D grid in such a way where it gets the beings that govern it attention, and they send a lot of nonsense your way. You have opposing forces that work up against you. Then you have those that, because for your divine calling, be you have to be what it is you are going to bestow into the atmosphere energetically. So you have to actually be that light. So your trials and tribulations that you might experience versus what another might experience that doesn't have that divine calling, it's just totally different because you have to vibrate to a certain level and frequency in order for you to create a magnetic change within the field in such a magnitude kind of way, right? And these things gets the attention of other beings. The more you are expanding after you're going through all of the things that you're going through behind the scenes, your light signature and frequency is naturally rattling the matrix grid. So you kind of attract and garner many opposing forces that may come and intentionally try to do harm to you, to distort you, or to scare you off of your path. And there are many beings that come in with a divine calling that they don't really make it to the fullness of what their calling entails because the pressure of everything that they have to go through, not only just the trials, but the spiritual warfare, the type of spiritual warfare, it can be intense for any soul, so many don't get to see their call into fruition, and then some people check out early, or then some people you know, are, get to, do what is entailed for them within their calling, but then their span is kind of cut short depending on what's going on. And you not only have you have all types of opposing forces that can attempt to work up against you. And then the more you expand, well, let's start from the beginning. When you come in the grid, these beings already know who you are based off of your light signature. They know which soul is which based off of their frequency and light signature, right? So they monitor and they watch you. And I'm talking about energetic beings. I'm not talking about no government. That's all small potatoes. What really governs the matrix grid is energetic beings, energetic hive mind beings. I call them parasites, but they're energetic hive mind beings that govern the grid. So it has nothing to really do too much with the physical avatar. It could, they utilize physical avatars to do their bidding, but I want people to think in energetic terms and in the energetic realm, okay? Because we're energetic beings and we operate on a multidimensional level, and there's a whole world beyond your senses, your 3D senses, and what you actually think is going on. If you were able to tap in, you would see what's going on behind the matrix grid. And this matrix grid is comprised of illusions, okay? It's an illusionary grid comprised of, false beliefs, indoctrinations, programs, but it's all illusionary, right? So if more beings continue to vibrate at high frequencies and high octaves of frequency, it would naturally cause a disruption within the field, right? And the field would no longer be able to exist because it is comprised of illusions. It's a system of illusions, and high vibration exposes illusion. It exposes things. So a whole array of tactics was comprised to get beings to detach from their multidimensionality, then place them under such a many programs and identifications, and just put them in their lower base chakras and everything like that. So you just see everything surface level, but there's a whole world outside of your 3D senses. I just want to say that. Okay, but so back to those that have a divine calling. And from the beginning, they know who's coming in based off of your energetic signature. You're like every being and everything in the universe carries an energetic signature. So when you come into the grid, they are aware of who's who. So, they do an array of tactics in order to get you off your mission, even if that's like infiltrating your family, because they have different ways of doing so, and just different ways in which they can take over a body if the person is like very low vibrational and they don't have a type of way. If they're very low vibration, sorry, I have brain fog today because I just went through some spiritual warfare nonsense this morning that just, so what you see is what you get today. You know what I mean? I'm trying to show up and still be true to myself and my calling, while at the same time I'm still processing and going through all that I've just gone through, So, but yes, they have an array of tactics where they can even infiltrate your family, with different patterns and things. And, well, basically they'll get your family members to maybe like gaslight you or bully you, just try to ostracize you, So for those that come in with, let's say for those that come in like myself that already came in online where I could actually see energetic beings, I could still see them. where, even growing up, even to today, I can see energetic beings if that's my choosing. And they basically will send out people in your life and situations where it's ostracizing you, trying to make you feel alone, or try to make you feel like, basically just trying to separate you, or make you feel like the everybody's a square peg, you're the round peg, but it's doing it in a way where it's like trying to bully you into the system to get you to become like everybody else. Like you need to get with the program type of thing. And when you're young, you don't know no better, so you fall into that, and you kind of do encompass that to a degree. And that's like their first stage of manipulation for those that come in already online or have like a calling. They'll put you in environments or put people in your life, or they'll infiltrate your family, spouses, friend structures, whatever, where they can, beam frequency or whatever, get these people to do certain things. If these people are in their lower base chakras and lower base energy, and they have toxic ego and all these, different toxic traits, it's easier to manipulate those that are in that particular frequency, is what I'm trying to say. And, so they do things like that. So basically, you come in, you get ostracized. You get to a space too where people might be dismissive of you. They don't really care what it is you have to say, or they don't really believe you. It's not because it's not their reality. They're very comfortable with being in the illusions, basically, so they don't really care to be disillusioned or really to know what's going on. So then you have that. So that might make you shrink a little bit, or you might not speak your truth too much, because you have people in your circle where it's like they don't care about that. They just want to party, or they want this, that, and the third, So then they set it up like that. Then you go through major psychic attacks, like the type of psychic attacks that those that, I don't want to say chosen ones, I know that's a term that people use a lot, but I'm just going to say people that have a divine calling, divine mission over their life. You go through a lot of psychic attacks, spiritual warfare, dream infiltration, you know what I mean? Just like different arrays of tactic. The more they see you expanding into your light, or the more that you are not basically falling backwards, like if you were just going along, if you have a divine calling over your life, and you are going along with their programs, and you are, still trying to fit into the matrix, and still trying to fit into, you still concerned with what everybody else thinks, so you still trying to fit into the programs, they don't bother you. They still monitor you, and to make sure that, okay, you don't get out of hand or anything like that. They'll still send things your way to keep you in that energy. But what I'm saying is, for those of us that are really ascending out of this energy, that are really devoted to this path, that are really rising to every occasion and everything that's being done to us, even in the midst of your own trials and tribulations, because your ancestors are sending you through trials and things to ensure that you can carry the lineage and you can carry these things. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a lot. So it's not only are you this is something you chose too. So it's what you chose, but it's like you're setting yourself free. You're setting your ancestors free. You're setting your lineage free. You have to go through all types of trials and tribulations that the average person wouldn't have to go through, which, it is what it is. It's just part of it. Then you have to go through the psychic warfare and the spiritual warfare from the opposing forces. Then when you're expanding and you're coming into your light or whatever, then you have those that are coveting your light, that want to harvest your light. So then you have those that try to come up against you. You have those that are just, that are just hating on you because they're not willing to encompass themselves or step into who they truly are. So then you have all of that being sent towards you. You know, you have people doing spell work against you. It's it's crazy stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and I'm talking about this today because not only is these things that I go through that I never speak on, you know, I want people to think about, like, every time you see a shaman or you see an oracle or you see somebody that's really like in their divine purpose and really carrying it and embodying it, I want you to think about what they actually endured behind the scenes, quite possibly, in order to get there, in order to be at that state, you know what I'm saying, of that state of living in their purpose. Because some people will look at you and they will covet your light, or they will have envy thoughts about you for whatever reason. And it's like people want what you have when you start to expand and encompass and come into your light, but they don't want to do the work it takes to get it. They don't want to go through the sacrifice. They don't want to go through the sleepless nights. They don't want to go through the fucking, excuse my language, but you know, I gotta go to work in the morning, but last night I was literally fighting entities that came and was like, people don't want to go through none of these things. They don't want to go through none of the stuff that you've been through to get to where you got to where you expanding into, to how you want to embody what somebody else has. You want to harvest or harness that. And then when people are put in positions from all the trials and tribulations and the turmoil and the crazy stuff they went through, when they finally get put in the positions that land them with the nice lifestyle or the things that you now covet, you feel like you should be there. You should have that. And I'm only speaking to a select type of people. But you feel like you should have that and you should be there in their spot. But you didn't want to do any of the work. You can't do. Matter of fact, because you can't carry what they're carrying. You can't even do the work. You know what I'm saying, with yourself. It's insane to me. You know, I just want people to be mindful of that, because we talk about the spiritual journey and we talk about things and we talk about the fluff. Okay, people get on here and we talk about the fluff sometimes, and it's not that. Okay, it's not. It's work. It's diligence. It's discipline. It's patience. It's delay. It's heartache. It's turmoil. It's trauma. It's release. It's so many things that is like it's sacrifice. So many things people are not willing to do, not willing to go through. But then when you get to a place where you have it all, they look at you and want that. Like, how dare you think that you could try to harvest somebody else's light that they expanded into, that they worked their ass off for, and you think that you can now try to harvest their gifts or their energy as if it's your own? Or how dare you think that now somebody is living in a state of luxury where they worked diligently, sleepless nights, all type of trauma that they've been through, that, you know what I'm saying, that, and now you think you deserve that more than them. You coveting it. You envious. You sending projections and hateful energy towards somebody because they actually did the work for themselves that you wasn't willing to do for yourself. So I just want people to be mindful of that, but be especially mindful because now we're in an age, it's not about all these superficial jobs anymore. I'm talking about the healers, the energetic workers, the people that do the real sacrifice out here, the light workers, All of the people that's doing the real sacrifice for this grid, for this planet, for the ascension of this planet, and for the ascension of all of the souls and the beings on this planet. Those that are doing the work to set their lineage free, their ancestral line free. I'm talking about those people, not the surface jobs and the matrix 3D grid nonsense. That time is over. It's about those that are really here with extreme purpose for the planet, know who they are, doing everything they can every day diligently to try to just be who they are and fulfill their mission. Okay? And we don't get thanked for it. We don't get thanked for none of the work we do. We are literally not only setting ourselves free, we are helping to set the planet free, setting other people around us free. Even if they get mad because they get triggered by our energy, because they don't want to expand into who they are yet, we still are helping you to expand, helping you to grow. Okay, that's facts. Let's talk about these things. Okay, this is the season of the energy workers and those that are doing real spiritual work. So every time you see a shaman or you see an oracle, you see a healer, a priestess, anybody that does real spiritual work on behalf of the planet, on behalf of all energetic beings, on behalf of their ancestors and their lineage and themselves. Think about what they go through behind the scenes to be the light in a place full of fucking illusions, programs, and darkness. Think about that, because there's so many people out here that you will hate on somebody that's really authentically doing real work and expansion, but you choose to live in the programs and the illusions and perpetuate the nonsense and the toxicity and all the things that you are not. But you will come for somebody else that's stepping into their purpose and realizing who they truly are and what they came to do. This season for the Matrix grid and all the inhabitants that love it so much, I was about to say fuck y'all. But let me calm down, okay? Because really it's a lot, okay? But this message is done. I said what I needed to say. Think about that.